I truly believed my surgery was still pending. That's what I told myself every morning when the pain woke me before the alarm. That's what I repeated when I swallowed painkillers instead of breakfast. And that's what I told my family whenever they asked how I was doing, still waiting to hear back from the hospital. Thanksgiving came wrapped in forced smiles and heavy smells of roasted turkey. The house looked warm, but I felt cold the moment I stepped inside. I moved slower than usual, careful not to show how much it hurt to sit, to stand, to breathe too deeply. No one asked why. They never really did anymore. At the dinner table, conversations floated: easily football, work bonuses, vacation plans. I listened more than I spoke, poking at food I couldn't finish. My mother kept glancing at me, not with concern, but with something else. Guilt, maybe? Or discomfort. Halfway through dinner, between laughter and clinking glasses, I casually asked, "So, did the hospital ever send my surgery date?" The room didn't freeze dramatically. It was subtler than that. Forks slowed. Voices softened. Someone coughed. My cousin avoided my eyes. My brother's jaw tightened for just a second, barely noticeable unless you were watching closely. "What?" I asked again, smiling lightly. "They said they'd email it." My aunt said, "Oh, I thought you knew." "Knew what?" My mother stared at her plate. My brother reached for his drink too quickly. And that's when my cousin, who had always been terrible at keeping secrets, said the words that cracked something open inside me. "They sent it last week." I laughed. Actually laughed. "No, they didn't. I checked my email every day." My cousin frowned. "I mean, they sent it to the family email. The one Mom manages. The one Mom manages." I turned slowly toward my mother. "Is that true?" She didn't answer right away. She folded her napkin, unfolded it, then finally said, "Yes. They sent it last Tuesday." The words felt unreal, like hearing bad news underwater. "Last Tuesday?" I repeated. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" Silence. My brother finally spoke. "Because it wasn't confirmed." I stared at him. "A surgery date isn't kind of confirmed." He shrugged. "Things change." "But you all knew," I said quietly. "You all knew, and no one told me." My mother reached for my hand. I pulled it away without thinking. My chest felt tight, not just from pain, but from betrayal. "We didn't want you to stress," she said. "You already worry too much." I wanted to scream. Stress? I was living in pain every day while they sat on information about my own body. "What date?" I asked. No one answered. I looked around the table, at faces I'd trusted my entire life. "What date?" I asked again, louder this time. My cousin whispered, "Tomorrow morning." Tomorrow. The word echoed in my head. Tomorrow morning. While I had been sitting here, believing nothing was decided, my hands started shaking. "You were going to let me find out when?" My brother said, "We thought the hospital would call you directly." "They did," I snapped. "You answered." That's when he looked away. Dinner ended early. People made excuses. Plates were cleared too fast. No one met my eyes as I stood up, pain shooting through my side. I walked to my room and closed the door softly because anger felt too loud. Lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, one thought repeated over and over: if they could hide this, what else had they decided without me? I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the word tomorrow pressed against my chest like a weight. Surgery wasn't just a date. It was fear, risk, recovery. And they had discussed it over group emails and quiet conversations while I sat in the dark, waiting. At 5 a.m., I heard movement in the house. Doors opening. Coffee brewing, preparation. They were getting ready. I walked into the kitchen slowly, holding the wall for balance. Everyone froze when they saw me. "You're up early," my mother said, too quickly. "I have surgery," I replied. "Remember?" She winced. I sat down at the table. Who decided not to tell me? No one spoke. "I'm not asking to fight," I said calmly. "I just want the truth." My brother exhaled and finally said, "The doctor said the delay could make it worse." Mom panicked. She thought if you knew too early, you'd overthink it. So she asked us not to say anything until the night before. The night before? I repeated. You told me at dinner. My mother's eyes filled with tears. I thought I was protecting you. I shook my head. You are protecting your fear, not mine. Silence sat heavy between us. On the drive to the hospital, no one spoke. The sun was rising, beautiful and cruel. I watched it through the window and realized something painful but clear. This wasn't the first time my voice had been ignored. Just at the hospital, nurses spoke to me. Doctors asked me questions. For the first time in days, I felt seen, respected, in control. Before they wheeled me in, my mother squeezed my hand. I'm sorry. I looked at her and said softly, next time, let me be afraid. Don't decide for me. She nodded, tears falling freely. When I woke up hours later, sore but alive, the first thing I felt wasn't pain, it was clarity. Recovery was slow, painful, honest. But something else healed too. I stopped sharing everything. I started asking fewer permissions. I made my own appointments, answered my own calls, set boundaries that felt uncomfortable but necessary. Thanksgiving had exposed something ugly, yes, but it also taught me a truth I needed to learn. No one, no matter how much they love you, has the right to control your life by withholding the truth. Sometimes the most painful dinner conversations are the ones that finally wake you up. And that surgery I thought was still pending? It wasn't just a procedure. It was the moment I finally took ownership of my own life.